Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to actually our very first live Q&A and training webinar within our business growth community. We are so excited to have those of you joining us live and those of you that will watch this after we post it, but just excited to have you here. So go ahead, next slide. This week, Leilani posted an incredible newsletter. It looks so beautiful. We found our format after we posted the first one, but y'all are getting a newsletter every week that digs in really deep to different topics that we've built into what we're currently calling our business boot camp. But yeah, the newsletter is amazing. You get access to it through our business growth community just within that private community. And then next slide, you also should have gotten the link to Leilani's goal setting webinar, as well as her practical application one, which you can find in two places. One, we linked it for you in the business growth community, but you can always find it at on saigeconsultants.com in the business startup bootcamp tab. Or you can also get to it on our YouTube channel, and we're at Saige Consultants. So just love this. So Leilani, take it away.
So guys, if you have tuned in a couple of times with us, you're familiar with this bullseye. And if you're not, I'm about to explain it to you. So Simon Sinek is the author of a book called Starts With Why. And it's an incredible book that talks about everything you do, your purpose, everything you want, your desires, your goals, all have to be embedded with your core, deepest value, which is your why. And so pretty much he went in to explain that every organization knows what they sell. If you didn't know what you're selling, then you would be a broke organization, right? And most organizations know how they're going to sell it. They know the differentiating factors that separates them apart from their competitors. And they know how they're going to market that product in order to gain sales. But not many organizations know why they are selling a product. What is that core purpose or belief that drives them to sell that particular product or service? Because business, guys, to make money in business should be thought of as the byproduct of doing business and not the core reason of doing business. Does that make sense? Let me reiterate that again. If you know your why, your core purpose and belief, it will transcend everything from your marketing. It will transcend how you speak to a customer. It will even transcend how you package your product and service together that will be felt by your customer, okay? And so when you make your why the forefront of the reason you're doing business, money will come in as the byproduct, okay? It is the very reason your organization exists, your why. So I just want to talk about my why. So I had lost my job back in 2008. Okay. I worked for a corporate company, and in the middle of the Great Recession, I was one of the thousands that ended up losing their job in 2008. And what really impacted me was that I had prioritized this career. I had prioritized this job. I had sacrificed a lot of milestones with my oldest child that I sent to a babysitter at 6 weeks old in order to go back to work. The babysitter saw him more time and more waking hours than I did. And I was okay with that because I had a career, right? But in 2008, when I was laid off, it really impacted me because I had sacrificed all of this time, all of this energy that I could have refocused in things that really mean something, which was my family. Okay. And so it really just made me sit back and think, what is my why? My why is my family, and it is my legacy. Okay. It is prioritizing them. It is fostering love and unity. Okay. And it's really here to instill the values that I want to set for them. I want them to have great leadership values. I want them to be helping others. Okay. I am here to foster just a great positive impact on their lives that they can carry forward, not only in their lives, but onto the next generations. And that is where my legacy comes in. So how did I do that in my business? Well, you guys are looking at the heart of Be Chic LLC. That is a company that I started back in 2010. And everyone here is team members within my organization. And I say team members and not employees because they are the ones, the heart and soul of our company. And without them, our company would be a failing company. Okay. And so I have this picture here because I wanted to instill unity and love. Well, it is felt within my organization immensely. I wanted to foster family and understand and prioritizing the unity or the core of the family to make sure that it is strong and stable and that they're having a good work-life balance. We do a 4-3 schedule at our job. They work 4 days on, 3 days off because I want to make sure that our team has a good work-life balance. And what do you see here? You're seeing the fruits of that. The kids are able to come to the office when they need to. There's no need for someone to take off because their kid is out of school that one day and they're sitting there trying to figure out what to do with work. They have a great mindset as far as leadership goes. They are all leaders. They've taken the bull by the horns and they do fantastic jobs leading in whatever role that they're in. And so seeing this is because my why was my family and legacy. The great thing about it is this is what my kids will remember. Okay. They will remember going into mom and dad's office and being surrounded by people who love and care and cherish them. And they're going to hopefully try to mimic that for themselves as they get older and as they raise their own family. So again, instilling that legacy within my professional realm in business, but also on the personal side. All right. So I want to ask you now, and when I get in front of a business owner and they're telling me their wants and the desires and all of that, the very first thing I want to say is, but where are you now? And be real with where you are now. Are you stressed out? Are you overwhelmed? Are you unsure of where to go or even how to start? And then are you just feeling stuck, right? Because maybe you have analysis paralysis. You don't know where to start. So then you're stuck. Where are you now? Be real with where you are now. And then I want you to dream about where you want to be. Okay. If you want to be traveling the globe, say it. You want to have a mansion, do it. You want to have freedom of choice, meaning that if you're sick, you do not have to go to work and you don't have to feel guilty about it. Declare it. Where do you want to be? Okay. Because in part of setting your goals, when you know your why and you know where you want to be, now we can work backwards to help you figure out the steps that you need to take so you do not suffer from analysis paralysis and you start. Okay. So in my newsletter on Monday, I had a few reflecting questions on there, and I just really kind of wanted to pull some info out of yourselves. You don't have to share it with us unless you want to. It can be completely private, but this is really for you. So the first question is, what inspired you to start your business? And I have a little blurb about reflect on the initial spark that made you want to start your business. What are you passionate about? What it could be a hobby too. Kristen has a fantastic garden, right? She's passionate about her garden. Doesn't mean she's going to go sell garden products, but it's just, I'm just trying to drag out what is your passion. And then how do you want to impact your community? So you can start a business. And I think a lot of people get confused like, oh, well, I sell toothbrushes. How does that impact my community? Well, then let's just be creative here. If you're selling toothbrushes, you can go and talk to the different dentists and stuff like that over there, and you're impacting your community because the people who are going to these dentists are being serviced by those dentists. They're part of your community, and you're making sure you're giving them a good product and not an inferior product, right? You're giving them a good product to use on their teeth, okay? I'm just giving you a little guide of how you can have a product turn into how it can impact your community. Not only that, maybe you want to volunteer as well. Maybe you want to give training events on how to properly brush your teeth. I'm just giving you an example as if you were selling toothbrushes. And then what is the core value that drives you? Okay. There has to be that one value that it's unwavering. It is the core. It's essential in you. It's something that when someone challenges, you get angry because they're challenging you, because that is your core value you believe in. And then what is the legacy you want to leave behind? Okay. And that you heard about my legacy. I'm thinking of future generations. Some people want to go put their name on a library and they want to leave a physical legacy. And that's fine too. If you want, maybe you want to author a book because you want to be in written history. What is the legacy you want to leave behind? And then what challenges or problems do you feel most compelled to solve? Now, I'm going to go and say, do not list financial, okay? Because that is one of the broad ones that most people are feeling compelled to solve. But the byproduct of knowing your why in business is what? It's money. So the problem you want to solve is not by focusing more on it. It's going to be focusing on extracting the answers to these questions to get down to your why and make a business around your why. And that will solve the financial woes that you could be currently going through. So it is not money, guys. Okay. All right. So those are a few questions you can ponder on. If you want to see this, just go back into the newsletter, get a journal, write them down. And then we come to the quadrant. This is the business, I forget what he calls it, but we call it the quadrant. It's from Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where he talks about there are 4 quadrants, and I guess you could say there are 4 places that someone could be currently in their life, right? You're either an employee, which means you're working for someone else, or you're self-employed, meaning that you're working for yourself, or you are a business owner. You're running a business that can run somewhat on its own most of the time, and you've got others that are doing majority of the work, or you're an investor, which means you own multiple businesses that are bringing in revenue, that you're very diversified, and you have a great portfolio of assets that are coming in on a repeatable basis. Okay. And so we bring up this quadrant because I want you to reflect on where you're at right now. And then we're talking about goals, right? So where are you right now? Are you employed? Are you self-employed? Are you a business owner? Or is your end goal to be an investor? Where are you right now and where do you want to be? Because those are the goals. Once you set it with your why, you know what to go for.
And what I love about this too, Leilani, and you've said this several times, somebody's ultimate goal might be to stay self-employed. They want to have their hands in their business and they want their business to pay for what they're obligated for in their personal life. And they don't mind being in their business 5 or 6 days a week, being part of the one who runs it. And
yeah, those are called lifestyle businesses. And at one point in time, to be completely honest with you, I thought I wanted that. Very early in my business trajectory or business path, I thought I just wanted a lifestyle business that just paid me enough money in order to continue paying me that certain amount of salary I needed a month to live comfortably. And there's nothing wrong with that.
no,
I think
there's a lot of people very happy and fulfilled in that.
They are.
Yes.
And the part is acknowledging that without guilt.
Exactly.
Right? So there's nothing wrong with just being self-employed.
Yep. But then that comes down to your kind of long-term goals and your ultimate why. You know, I look at some people and I feel like the conflict is your ultimate why is to be able to take a month and go to Europe with your family.
Yeah.
Well, you may need to look at that balance between self-employed and then truly transitioning to a business owner. So I think, you know, where you are and then what your ultimate goals are, your true why needs to align with what you're working towards within this quadrant too. And I think that's really a great way to segue in, the previous week, if you want to go to the next slide, Leilani, the previous week, you got the newsletter and the video link for really your leadership archetype. And Leilani and I felt really passionate about starting with this one because knowing who you are as an individual allows you to let the real you shine, but also to understand what you need to work on. So again, that link was in the Facebook community group, but you can always get to it through the business startup page of SaigeConsultants.com or on our YouTube channel. So go ahead to the next slide, my friend. So we talk a lot about, as you get to know yourself, you need to realize, even if you're a, army of one running your business, there are so many different hats that you need to wear. You will have to be customer facing, of course. I think that's a given. And if it's not, double check if you want to go into business because the customer rules. Everything you do should revolve around giving your customer an incredible either experience and or item or service, whatever it is your business offers. But the other hats that you need to wear will include things like some sort of actual selling routine, some sort of marketing routine, some sort of constant flow of ordering the products that you can offer your customers, which then also turns into inventory management. But then that also includes making sure you have the correct packaging or business cards. Every business, give me a business that I haven't come across a business yet that doesn't need the majority of these different hats in some capacity or another. Now, as your business grows and you want to transition from business, from self-employed into business owner, that's where you'll need to decide, okay, what do I really love to do? And what do I honestly hate doing? And when you pick those things that you hate doing, but you've learned to do them because they're part of your business, that's who you could consider hiring somebody in for who has a passion. I hate bookkeeping. It's tedious. I can't stand it. I have an amazing business partner who is passionate about it. What a dream team we are. But I will say this. This is where getting to know each other's, business archetype really helped us as well. And it solidified that, Leilani, you and I are great business partners. So if you go to the next slide, this is where this really comes in. This module that I referenced really takes you through the three main archetypes that each of us would be at our core essence. Now, and I talked about this in the newsletter. Leilani even said this in our practical application. She goes, I do all of that stuff. I don't doubt that. If you've been in business for even just a few years, you better know how to put on all these hats, because chances are your visionary is the hat you need to wear when you're coming up with a marketing plan and advertising plan. Your strategist hat is the hat you better wear when you look at your bookkeeping and your inventory levels. Your collaborator hat better go on when you're trying to build customer relationships and network in your community and things like that. So you have to have all of these hats, and they have to be evolved and figure out how to be successful. But when you are stressed, when something's not going right in your business, you default to one of these to make it happen. I promise you. One of these is your core essence. And I dig into this so much, but the reason I want you to identify who you are at your core essence is so that you know where the other two areas are that you can continue to develop in yourself. And we talk so much about YouTube University. There are so many videos you can watch about people who are strategists in their business mindset. There are so many books. If you check out some of Leilani's and my after hours, if you will, we clock out from Saige and we just want to have a drink and talk together. We started Books and Booze really for a lot of this purpose. And so many of the different books that we have read feed the essence of these three different archetypes. So if you're a collaborator, there's additional books that'll help you in that, but chances are you're going to need to spend some time developing your strategist side and your visionary side. And then if you're naturally a strategist, there's books, there's podcasts, there's things you can listen to, so on and so forth. I think you guys understand what we're saying, but don't just brush this off. Like, this is something really critical just to get yourself started. But this is also going to really come into play once it's time to hire someone in. So these videos, the newsletters, they're there for you to go back and reference, but it's amazing. Before you realize it, it's going to be time for you to hire someone in. And knowing what your core strength is really going to help you identify who you need as a great counterpartner. If you go to the next slide, Leilani, I dig a lot into, once you know your main archetype, the video goes on to explain understanding really where you swing on two different spectrums. One I call the contribution spectrum. Are you more of the type that will create something, or are you more the type who is an executor? You kind of need a checklist. You're going to rely on somebody else's perspective and feedback, or maybe past experience to say, I did it this way, and that's how you're going to go and try it. So understanding where you are also is going to help you know where to pull resources from and how to either source someone who can execute for you, or source ideas and inspiration and to help you so that you can be a successful executor. And then if you go to the next slide, Leilani, the next is your leadership spectrum. And this is really, really critical once it's time to hire somebody into your team, because you understanding how you are going to come across to your team, and you're going to be different in different roles. You may, when you were an employee somewhere else, may have been the supportive and adaptive, but chances are a lot of times your business owners turn into the authoritative and directive. But if you end up bringing in a partner who is also authoritative and directive, it's going to be important that you guys align on your organizational chart, who is responsible for what, who kind of, I guess, not bows to, but lets the other own their area, right? So good. So go to the last slide for this part here. This is where you can really pull it all together. And this is in the YouTube video and on the website. It's really where you choose, okay, where are you at your essence? And again, you don't have to tell us, but it's important for you to just really, when you are stressed, sorry, my dogs are barking. I don't know if you can hear it on there, but oh, great. So when you are like stressed and you have an important decision to make, or you feel overwhelmed, who are you in your archetype? And then after you've watched the video and really understand a little bit more about executor or creator, and then directive or supportive, where really do you align? And then that's going to help you so much when it's time to hire in, or even just what to continue to work on in yourself. So next slide. This is what I'm so excited for. This is one of the reasons we came up with these twice a monthly. I don't want to say bi-weekly, because I know with holidays here and there, they may turn up being back to back. But for the most part, we're trying to do every other week, right, Leilani?
Yes.
So we open the forum for you guys to send us in questions. So the first question, she asks, what can I do with my mindset to stay focused and resilient in the face of tough times? Ooh, Leilani, I feel like this goes back more to your why and mindset. Do you want to take this one? Like, what you've been in tough times as a business?
A lot of it. I think for your mindset is really going to be habitual with always feeding yourself information. Okay. Be okay with being uncomfortable. I think a lot of people are like, oh, that feels kind of weird. I don't know if I want to be uncomfortable in that, but be okay with being uncomfortable, because that's where the most growth comes in. Continue to always feed yourself knowledge, which is one of the reasons why Kristen and I read. We're voracious. Anyways, we read a lot of books. We read a lot of books, right? And that's why we have Books and Booze podcasts, is because of the fact that we read a lot. We figured, hey, let's dialogue back and forth on some of these books, and in the continuation of feeding yourself knowledge. Why does that help with your mindset? Because if you're not continually feeding yourself knowledge and doing more and trying to grow personally, okay, self-growth, you will become stuck. And when you become stuck, it can lead to depression and feeling like there's no way out, that you're in a failing business. And what ends up happening, I'm a firm believer of what you throw out, you will attract. So if you're in that mindset of being stuck and not knowing where to go and feeling down, you will attract more of that. And it will perpetuate through everything, not only personally, but professionally. So to stay focused and resilient in tough times is defaulting back to your why. What is the core why what is your core why? Why did you start your business? What do you want to achieve? And just always thinking ahead. I am here for this reason. I am focused on this reason. My mindset is always growing and will continue to grow because of reason. So feed yourself knowledge, get in some good habits, and always default back to your why when you come across those tough times, and have faith that because you know your why, it will happen for you.
Absolutely. Love that. Good suggestions. All
You
right.
want to do the next one? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. She's asked, what strategies can I use to stay focused on my goals and not be so stressed out?
So it kind of ties back. Yeah, it kind of just ties right back.
It does.
It just, I think one of the biggest things that helps me, one of the biggest strategies that helps me stay focused on my goals is having an action plan. And in my goal setting module, or my workshop that I have in our boot camp, I talk and go into great depth of how to set up a plan. And then I even have a practical application of making an action plan. Once you make an action plan, you get a checklist and you start ticking off the boxes. So one of my strategies is every week I sit down and I look at my action plan and say, what on this action plan is going to be the most important thing I get done this week, right? If I can get them all, great. But there's always going to be one or two that's really, really important I get done. And so my strategy is to stay focused on that and know that once I accomplish those certain tasks on this checklist, I am going further and closer to my goal. And knowing that I have taken a measurable step towards my goal helps me not get stressed out.
I love that. So I think kind of a combination, truly, goal setting, like a literal checklist, and then constant feeding yourself. And not everybody has time to read, or that's the story they tell themselves at least. But you could do audiobooks. So while you're driving around, while you're cleaning your house, while you're waiting for a customer to walk into your shop, you can have something playing. So there are ways to feed your mind. And then also, I love that, like goals.
I know we were bouncing back and forth on these questions. I'd actually like to hear yours, Kristen. What strategies do you use to stay focused on your goals and not get stressed out?
So a routine. I have to protect my routine. And my routine has got to start with me and giving myself time to reflect on my why, and then just continually grow myself. So I just pushed myself to get up a little bit earlier. At first I had a hard time waking up at 7 a.m. Then I got used to waking up at 6 a.m. I'm at a point, guys, even if I'm up till midnight or 1, I'm waking up pretty well without an alarm at like 5:30 in the morning. And that is my time. I know, but that's my time. Like, I will get a light workout in. I do want my body to look better and be in better shape, but I'm proud of myself for protecting a short routine, even though it's only like 15 minutes, but I'm protecting a routine that I know I can build on. And then I give myself time to read or journal. And then, so I'm taking care of my physical. And while I do that, sometimes I play affirmations like, I am successful, I am smart, things like that. Or sometimes I just enjoy the silence because not even the dogs are up yet. So it is truly silent in my house. But then it's that time to either journal or read that I feel that my brain is the most awake than it ever is. And that's where, if there is something that the night before I went to bed stressed about, oftentimes I will find a fresh approach in that. And y'all, I have a very busy day. Sometimes I'm obligated to be somewhere at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., but I'm doing this even despite that. I don't have a leisurely, get up and then jump on and check email around 11 a.m. Like, no, I've got a 15-minute workout. I've got a 20-minute shower and makeup routine. And then I'm reading and journaling for another anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. If I have time to go longer, I do. So really, I'm only giving myself about an hour and a half, you know what I mean, for this.
I love it. I love hearing all of that.
It helps keep me out of a funk. And I found I get into a funk if I let myself, sometimes, so I'm a girl. I don't want to totally get into this, but we girls have a monthly visitor that sometimes can shake how much stamina we have. I think everybody understands what I'm talking about. So, and it's when I let that go and like, oh, cramps, then I will find my mindset spiraling. So that's when I also am grateful for you, Leilani, to be honest. Having a mentor or somebody else that is just a check-in person that is also positive and driven, and I have some amazing friends, some of we're now all friends together, through introducing each other. You've introduced me to amazing women and I've introduced you to amazing people. And those are my peeps. And I even just send them a hello and them reaching back out to me to like, how are you doing? And I'm like, can we meet for a drink? So
you know what? Actually, I think I love the fact that you mentioned the network, because it's true. If you want to talk about strategies you can use to stay focused on your goals and not get stressed out, have a good network. That's why you guys are part of us, right?
Yes.
We're here to help you, listen to you, maybe guide your goals, and that way you'll remain focused and it'll alleviate stress. So having a great network helps a lot too.
Solve it. Absolutely.
I love that you brought that up.
Yay. All right.
Okay. So next one.
I can't afford to hire anyone right now. What can I do to maintain organization and stay efficient?
Ooh, Kristen, you first.
Routine. I can't preach it loud enough and strong enough. You have to have a routine that you know what needs done for your business, and somehow it might take you a whole day to figure it out, but giving yourself that day to map out everything your business needs and how and when you can do that. So I don't love bookkeeping, but I had to put into my routine, when am I going to log in and look at my personal accounts and my business accounts and what all we want to do with, income. So I have to look at that. Even if I know it didn't change from the day before, it's still protecting the routine. Developing myself. Now that's turned into something I almost can't go without. But when you take time to map out what needs to be done, you actually somehow have more time in your day. I don't know. I can't explain how that works, but when you stick to a strict routine and a regiment, and you got to factor in white space, like you have got to plan for the unexpected and allow time for that, right? Somebody's going to text you and say, I have a problem with the product you just gave me, or I have a problem with something I just bought from you or paid for from you. So you need time to flex to handle that, and you build that into your routine. But the things you don't love to do that your business needs, do them quick, because chances are they don't take long in your day at all. Chances are it's a 5 to 10 minute activity. But yeah, that's what I would say. You can do it. You absolutely can. There is so much technology and AI that will help do things for you if you can't afford to hire and outsource or anything just yet. But I'd say a routine, number one way, and stick to it. What do you think?
Well, mine is kind of aligned with yours. It's going to be twofold. So first one is time blocking, which goes into a routine. I have I guess a strategy that I use is once a month. In the beginning of the month, I sit down and I really look at, of course, my goals, right? The action plan I'm currently on. And then typically in the action plan, there's a lot of little nuanced details that need to be handled. And I stagger them out within the month. But then I also have, I learned it from a book called Leading on Empty, where he compared your life as like the gauges on an airplane, right? So the pilot's sitting in the cockpit and he's got all these gauges, one for altitude, one for gas, one for this, one for that. And he's like, imagine your life like that dashboard of a cockpit, right? And think of each one of those gauges being something really important to you. So for example, maybe it's health, it's family, it's leisure, it's friends, whatever it is that you is really important to you. And then gauge yourself. Where are you? Are you almost on empty, or are you full? Or in this case, he said, grade yourself from, A, B, C, D, E, grade wherever you're at currently within that core gauge. And so, but you have to be honest with yourself. Where are you at? So like if financially you're not doing very good, maybe you're an F, say you're an F. Okay. Or if you haven't been spending a lot of time with family and you wish you could, but you're doing okay, maybe you're a C. We'll put yourself at a C. Okay. Wherever you're at, grade yourself. And then as I sit down, and I do this, and I sit down in the beginning of the month. So I take my action plan little nuances that need to be done, but then I look at my gauges. And so if I don't feel like I've adequately been spending enough time with my family, then I will literally time block and schedule it into my calendar. And that's something that really helps. So if you can't afford hiring someone right now and you're wearing all the hats, you are the solopreneur at the moment, and that organizational chart has your name all over it, time blocking is going to be essential. And so if you want to start somewhere, if you're a solopreneur at the moment, start with Kristen's organizational chart. Look at it. Look at all the roles that are there. And then go in your calendar and block out sections of time in your day that you are tackling each one of those roles. Doesn't have to be the same task you're doing every day. So for example, one of them was, I think you had an inventory management, you had bookkeeping, inventory.
Yep.
So maybe on a random Tuesday at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., you time block that hour to only focus on inventory and taking inventory or handling anything with inventory. But then on Friday at 1 p.m., you are time blocking bookkeeping. So it's in your calendar, it's right in front of you. And then the second part of to answer that question is AI. Kristen brought it up. There are so many AI tools. If you go on my Google Calendar, I'd be lost without my Google Calendar. It is tied to every device that I own, okay? Because that is my secretary. That is my secretary reminding me that I've got this meeting coming up, or you might need to reschedule it if it's not happening. But it is my AI secretary reminding me, hey, you got to do this thing over here, right? Or there's other AI tools out there now that you can have call forwarding, even chat box things that happen for you. If you're running a business where you have a lot of customers that are messaging you, there are AI tools out there that will help you with automated chat box responses. Okay. So the second fold to that AI part, or I guess it's threefold now. So the first part, time blocking, second part, AI, third part is knowledge. Okay. Time block some part of your day every day to research a new tool that you can add to your arsenal. Okay. If you are in business right now, technology is evolving at a rapid pace. Do not be left behind. Every day you need to research a new tool that you can use in your business. Doesn't mean you will, but you need to be abreast of the new tool that you could possibly use at a later date, okay? And possibly one of those tools for a nominal fee monthly will help you be another employee or team member, okay? So again, fitting into the thing that you can't afford to hire anyone right now, but you might be able to hire a thing to help you.
Yep. That's such a great idea. And there's so many videos on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok about how to use different tools. And some of them are only like 5 to 12 minutes. You know what I mean? It's just, they're short, they're easy. Somebody's showing you how they do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. What's our next question? What did he ask? He says, what would a good routine look like to keep myself organized in my business and still protect work-life balance? Well,
I think we kind of already did that. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, you went really into, well, I know we had read these just before we did this, you know what I mean, as we were compiling, you know what I mean? So, what would a good routine look like? Well, I think Leilani gave a great example of time blocking. So, you know what's going on in your personal life. And one of the privileges of being a business owner is you do get control of your schedule. You really do. And you can even train your customers to what that looks like too. If, you have something really important with your daughter's dance class every Wednesday evening, then your business isn't open after 4 p.m. on Wednesdays. And that's what it is. Or, there's ways around this. And that's one of the privileges of being a business owner. So I would say everything Leilani just said, is time blocking. But part of your time blocking needs to include time for your family. And as you create a routine, it may be something that you add into your daily. I look at how amazing Trello is for our business, and you can have your daily must-dos. But even just a checklist, does your checklist start with even what you do when you first wake up? Do you like that idea of before you even go on your phone and look at Instagram or email or anything, do you take you time? Do you like that idea? So is that how your checklist starts? You start with a light workout, you start with some meditation, and then you say, while I'm drinking my coffee, then I'll open up and look at my emails and make a plan. And then I will on Mondays do this, this, and this. And then on Tuesdays, I'll do this, this, and this, and kind of build it in. But then put a time block in for, dinner with your partner or husband on every Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. So nothing else can bump into that. So time blocking, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, actually, it's funny you just mentioned about dinner. 1 month I was feeling low on the family side because we had a lot going on in our businesses that I felt like I was neglecting, not my duty or anything like that, but internally what I wanted to be present for my family. I graded myself as a C. So I said, what can I do to make it an A? And I said, well, I know we have a pretty filled schedule because of the various businesses that we're running, along with extracurricular activities between the kids. So what I did is I scheduled in family dinner 3 nights a week. Like it is scheduled in there. And I went and I shared that calendar with my teenage son and my husband. So we all knew on this days we had family dinner. And then the other thing was to have a really healthy marriage was to make sure I set time apart with my husband. And we actively have at least a date night every month, which is an overnighter in a hotel somewhere where we're just us two and we can go and dream big. And we try to make sure business is not the forefront of our conversation. It's okay to talk about business when you're dreaming and your goals and all that, but to do part of what needs to be done when we go back home, we leave that out. And so we're focusing on making sure we're focusing on, us two together. And that completely really, really helped, unify us. It made a huge difference. It made a huge difference as far as it was something we get to look forward to now. We're like, oh, date night's coming up. Yay. Like, hey, we plan ahead and all that stuff. So it's nice. It's nice. Yeah. So to answer your question, we can't tell you what a good routine will look like. We can give you an example of what we do. Of course, it's up to you and how your routine is at the moment. But I will tell you this. If you are currently unhappy with your routine, then do not build a routine around what you're already doing. You need to completely change it. Something that will make you uncomfortable. Be okay with being uncomfortable. Okay? That's the best growth. So look at your optimal routine. Think of someone that you admire and mentor, and then imagine what their routine is, and maybe you might want to emulate that. Okay?
I refer to Jim Rohn a lot. It's like found him so inspirational in some of the earlier things that have been posted on YouTube from some of his sales trainings and things and mindset trainings. And one of the things that sticks in my mind, he's like, if you don't like something, change it. And he goes through all these things. You don't like your diet, change it. You don't like your routine, change it. You don't like what you're watching, change it. He goes, change it. You're not a tree.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
And it's so true. But I appreciate what you said, Leilani. You got to be honest with how you would gauge something so that you can then change. So, and I think when it ties back to your why, it gives you a little more power and oomph to start those changes. So,
yes, love
what
that.
a way to wrap up the questions. Y'all, thank you. These were really good questions this week. I
really
were.
Appreciate
it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Just have them pouring in. A lot of them I feel like actually overlap. So we, kind of merged a couple of them. So anyways, so what does your community look like? So the business growth community, just so you guys can get used to the routine. Remember, we're going to do these live coaching sessions, Q&A. We're going to be doing these twice monthly. And you can really put in any question at all, honestly. And you have to see now, we will protect the names to keep so people don't know who's asking what.
Keep everything private, keep it anonymous. We won't divulge who sent in the question. So that allows you to be brutally honest with the question you want to ask and the question you want to ask, and to have a genuine answer received.
Yep, absolutely. So put it in there, and you may find we tweak what your business is or what it is you're saying you're struggling with just to help keep it anonymous for you. But usually business approaches are the same across many markets. So, and then remember, in the business growth community, you're going to get a lot of mindset development. If you take time to read the affirmations that come out, they're usually posted in purple, just a really positive affirmation. You're going to get open discussions where we give people a chance to dialogue about what they just read in the newsletter and watched in the video, so you can get perspectives. And the more active you are, the more active others will continue to be. You're going to get those newsletters every Monday, along with the link in our on our website of where you can go to watch the module that correlates with it. And then just don't forget, you got a support network. There are so many incredible individuals in there that are good, like business peers, even friends of ours are in there who own their own businesses, and they're standing by ready to maybe answer a question or, give you a different perspective on things. We've personally invited them in to support you. So keep in mind, you've got some amazing tenure in there of very successful business owners. I can think of a few who have been business owners for more than 20 years. You know what I mean? So
yes.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much for being part of this with us tonight. Looking forward to the next one in 2 weeks.
Yes, I am too. We wrapped up early tonight. So
we did. Yep.
That's good, because I'm going to go pour myself a cup of bourbon.
Yeah. Let's get together for Books and Booze, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, no, thanks guys for joining us. And for anyone who wasn't able to join us on the live webinar, a recording will be going out. So we will have this up on Facebook. And that is something else that we will do, is record our live session. So in case you weren't able to meet it because you were over there in Europe drinking bougie coffee, you'll be able to catch us on the recording.
Yep, absolutely. Or go back and reference something.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. We will see you. Bye, guys.
Bye.